Hello everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Premiere Preview. I am Cole, back with another episode with Micro today. Before we get into all that, I want to make sure you all like and subscribe to the channel. I am gonna continue to post these. We'll see if I can get to all the teams. There's been a lot of updates in the Premiere season. As of the past couple days, I believe we saw the addition of like 3 teams. So I don't know if I'll be able to get to all of the teams this season because they keep on coming. Hopefully I'll be able to get to most of them. I appreciate all the players that have reached out. But with school coming up, obviously the season coming up, which will take some time out of my schedule with casting. Not 100% sure if I can get to every team. Definitely going to be a goal though for sure. But for those of you who are not aware, there's been a couple of teams introduced to this season of Premiere. The Right Opportunity, which is Chaos, X Chaos, with the introduction of PTR. So far, I imagine this roster will be Vanity, PTR, and Janji. That is announced so far because Zeppa and Leaf both playing on Cloud9, one in Valorant and then another in CS. So I'm not 100% sure if Leaf is actually on Cloud9 for Valorant. That's still I think to be announced later. So I don't know if that's a for sure thing. I think they were just doing some subs with him, but that's one of the first teams. The second team being Extra Salt, which has just finished their roster with Fang. So now that roster's Fang, Monum, OC, Sonic, and JT. So and their coach TC. So that's kind of a huge addition right there. Let alone the old Cloud9 roster plus Fang. This kind of brings a lot to competition this season for Premiere, which is going to be really fun to watch them play. I'm sure maybe I'll get a chance to cast them. I'm not 100% sure what the schedule's looking like for casting. Triumph as well. I'm not sure if this team is even been announced to for sure play. I saw a tweet saying something like, should our team be playing Premiere this season? And I'm excited if they are. Not sure if that's for sure, but as of right now on the ESEA page, I see Shake, Cooper, B Wills, 60, and Viz. So that means that Penny's no longer on the roster, at least on the ESEA team. So that's just what I'm looking at on the ESA page. But with that being said, we'll go ahead and get into the interview. I just wanted to give a little update on what the teams are looking like this season, the new introductions, because I got a another video down the pipeline. Whenever I get time to do it, whenever things kind of change. Hopefully looking to get a power ranking going. I've got a nice little Excel spreadsheet of all the teams with all the players. But obviously, as teams keep on getting announced, I have to push it back further and further because of the fact that I've got to make adjustments. So, obviously, still working on that. That'll be coming to a YouTube subscription box soon. So make sure you hit that sub, hit that like button. But with that being said, throw it over to the video. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Thank you for all the support. And yeah, I'll be back with another episode soon. Peace. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Premiere Preview. I am joined by Micro, a member of Big Chillin. He is playing in Premiere, of course, as all the players are in my interviews. Before we start the interview, I'm going to ask you all to make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. Get those subs up. Other than that, how you doing today, Micro?
Um, I'm doing okay.
Okay,
Got practice in I think 2 hours.
nice. That
Yeah.
that answers one of my questions there. I was gonna ask. I typically ask what the practice schedule is, because I know that sometimes I know last season there's a lot less teams practicing in general. A lot more teams kind of pugging it out and seeing what they could do.
Um, I think most teams are practicing.
This season,
I think yeah, I
or
think
or
most
was it in
teams are.
general?
Uh, well, last season not a lot of teams were practicing. I think there
Yeah.
were just two or three
Okay.
by
Yeah.
by the end of the season that were really practicing.
Do you think
Um,
do you think that kind of had to do with some of the ESEA changes, or was it a little bit before that kind of the practice started picking up?
uh, I think it had to do with a lot of the teams that got relegated because it's most like all the
Okay.
relegation teams are practicing.
Yeah. Like the advanced
Um,
teams that moved up.
yeah, yeah, that moved up. That
Okay.
yeah, all of them are practicing. Um, and then all the other teams like last season, a lot of teams just were in bad situations
Yeah.
for being able to practice. A lot of bad,
Right.
unfortunate, unfortunate things happened to a lot of teams, especially mine.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of what
uh,
I want to start off with because last season your team was called Incognito. Um, it didn't really keep a stable roster, but you were able to avoid relegation. So I think was that kind of your goal towards the later part of the season, especially with like the very tough start that you all had to the season as well.
yeah, our goal was to avoid relegation.
Hmm.
Um, we achieved that. So now our goal is, at least for me, it's playoffs.
Yeah.
Get playoffs, see how far we can go. For this season, we're still doing tryouts since um Wes stepped down
Right. Yeah.
uh for people, but I think we're about to pick somebody up.
Okay.
Um, and then we should start going over everything again for another time with the
Yeah.
new people. Um, but in terms of last season, man, that was a roller coaster.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you want to talk
Um,
a little bit more in depth about that?
yeah, so I'm gonna look up
All the
who we
roster
were
moves.
playing with. Yeah, all the roster
Yeah.
moves. Um, shoot. So who'd we play the first match with? Okay, so at the start of the season, we had me, Viz, CXEI, Sterling, and FrostyK,
Okay.
right? And before that, so because of all the changes, a lot of people in terms of so Axe, Sterling, and Frosty were like the core
Hmm.
group that were trying to pick people up as that season started with Axe being a coach.
Yeah.
And so how I got on the team was I was trying to make an advanced team and that all fell apart and made me super unmotivated to play the game.
Yeah.
So then I went back to Ocean's team and said I didn't want to practice. I just want to show up for matches because that was basically what was going to happen. Um and then a day after that, Axe said I can get you an MDL tryout. Do you want to play MDL? And to be honest, I didn't really want to play in practice because I knew that was going to be a part of it,
Yeah.
but it was also MDL, and I couldn't pass that up,
Right.
right? So they're telling me I have a tryout on this certain day, because they can't get any tryouts. But on that same day, they got a tryout with I think Swisher and Walker, and since Frosty K and Sterling didn't know me and I played advanced, they tried out with them,
Mm.
and basically I kind of got screwed out of a tryout. So I didn't think I was gonna play MDL, so
Right.
and that made me even more super unmotivated to even play the game. Um, and then I think 2 days after that, Axe messaging me, and he literally messaged me the roster password. I didn't have a try right?
Yeah.
Like,
Is
I
that kind
didn't have a
of
tryout
was that a
because
kind
they
of account
couldn't.
of Swisher going to yeah? Was that kind of the timeline?
I think it was even before that. They
Okay.
they played with Swisher and
Oh yeah, because
Walker
they
and
played on the old Viria Pro roster for a little bit before
for a
Swisher
little
went.
bit,
Yeah.
yeah. But, from what I heard, that it was just a very unfortunate tryout. Like, when they tried out, everything went wrong.
Okay.
Um, and then that they really needed players, and so I just got messaged the roster password, and then they were gonna do tryouts with me.
You're right.
Like, I was on the team, and like, I didn't try out for them, and we were just gonna try people out and see who we got. But around that same time, I think another day after I just got picked up, or 2 days after, that's when that PVO roster died.
Yeah.
So that's when we picked up CXEI and Wes, or Viz.
Okay.
And I've played on numerous teams and numerous seasons with Wes. Like,
Okay.
I've known him for years at this point.
Gotcha.
Like, we played main together, I think.
But way
Um,
back.
way back,
Yeah.
man. I've known that guy for 4 years. It's yeah. Um, so we picked up both of them. Uh, and that I was I'm pretty sure that was like a week right before the first match. Like, I just got on the roster, CXEI just got on the roster, and Wes got right on the roster. Um, so we have about a week of practice, and we can't really practice because Sterling's in the middle of moving. So some days he can't practice,
Right.
right? So Sterling's in the middle of like moving to a new house. So we're not really practicing. We get in the first match. We went over a little stuff, like I think two or three setups, one strat, and we're sort of just winging it a little bit. We went over our default one strat, right?
Yeah.
And we're playing Wrath's team. We lose. We're not really torn up about it. We're like, whatever. We're as soon as Sterling moves in, we'll have time to practice,
Yeah.
right? As Sterling's moving, Danny gets a message from Automatic to go play for Gen G. Um, so right before he leaves for Gen G, we have one more match. Sterling can't play that match because he's moving and doesn't have
Right.
internet. So Danny goes, okay, I'll play it, and then I'll leave for Gen G, and we'll play with Tommy. So at least we go over stuff. We
Right.
get into that match, or no, Sterling was there for that match. Let me pull it up because it says Sterling was here. Sterling was here for that match, but we weren't gonna play with Danny because Danny was gonna leave.
Yeah.
But then in the first 2 rounds, Tommy lagged out. Tom, Tommy, Tommy or Axed
Yeah.
lags out in the
Right.
first two rounds of the match. So then we're playing with Danny. We
Mhm.
never went over anything. We lose that match. It's like, okay, whatever. Danny's now on Gen G. Sterling is moving.
Yeah.
Sterling moves into his new house. He doesn't have internet. Finally gets internet, but it finds out the internet isn't playable,
Yeah.
so he can't play the game.
Oh my god. It's kind of
Um,
nuts to see how like last season just watching the games and watching the score lines, because yeah, of course I had high expectations for your all's roster, and then I'd see you all lose and I'd be like, how are these players losing to these teams? But now like getting to learn kind of the background of even like just the early season, it kind of tells so much about like
yeah,
what happened, you know what I mean? So even getting to know that a little bit is interesting.
yeah. So we played like the first 3 matches with Sterling like in the middle of moving,
Okay.
um, and CXEI sort of ringing. And then we weren't even supposed to play with Danny for the second 2 matches after the first one, so the third and second match. But since Tommy was like lagging out during matches, we just said Danny could play.
Yeah.
um, so we just played with Danny until he went to Gen G, and we weren't practicing at all.
Mhm.
Um, so that's how that season started off. And going like into that season, I'm like, man, I'm actually the worst player on the team. I
Yeah.
don't, and I'm like used to being first or
That's
second
kind of a good
option,
feeling
right?
though. Yeah.
Right, yeah. So and I was like, yeah, I don't really have to do
Right.
anything, right? I should sort of get carried a little bit. Um, and I also didn't have like a little motivation, so I was also slacking off.
Okay.
Like, I'm not gonna lie, like I wasn't super into it
Mhm.
still because I was super unmotivated to play the game.
Yeah.
Even still playing MDL. Like, yeah, I was showing up for practice, but that was about it. I wasn't DMing, watching demos, or doing any of the stuff that I'm doing right now.
Okay.
Oh, I lost my page. Okay, but eventually Danny goes to Genji. Sterling is in the middle of moving, gets internet, finds out it's bad internet, calls up the internet company, say they won't be there for the next 2
Yeah,
weeks.
of course.
They come, they come, and he lives in Canada,
Okay.
which is important because this is about October. So he gets them to come after about 3 weeks. They come, they fix it, but they don't fix it,
Yeah. Yep.
right?
Yeah, I've been
Um,
there.
Yep, they fix it and then don't fix it. So this guy doesn't have internet. They say, okay, we'll come by in the next 30 days. Well, it's Canada and it's about the middle of October by the second time they come.
So it's freezing?
So it's freezing and the ground's frozen the next time they
Yeah.
come. So they can't bring in new internet that's playable, right? So Sterling's out for the season.
Yeah.
Danny went to Gen G and can't play for us.
Mhm.
So we lose two of our most important players.
Yeah.
Um, So we go, okay, we don't have an opera, and at worst, and now this is why we had to play with Maui Snake is because Sterling was that person that had the reserved roster spot from last season.
Okay.
So it was him and Frosty that were playing for the reserved roster spots, in which you need like 6 or 7 matches in MDL.
And Maui
Um,
played a little bit, right?
and Maui had to play those matches because he had the roster reserve
Yeah.
slot because the roster would have died if Maui didn't play.
Right.
So that's why we were playing with Maui while like trying out people as an operator, and that's why we played with JoJo.
Yeah.
And JoJo didn't work out. Um,
Mhm.
so we didn't want to play. We didn't want to play with JoJo because it just wasn't working out. So that's when we picked up Braun. And I would say if I can pull that all back up again, if I look at it, season 35. So I'll try to find the first match that we played with Braun, which was that. So by the middle of the season, we don't even have our set five for the end
Mhm.
of the season because we're playing with Maui. Maui's about to leave, is lives in Hawaii, so he's
Yeah.
playing every match with 150 ping.
Oh my god. I didn't even realize that.
No, Maui's
That's
playing with 150 ping, so we're already somehow we won a match.
yeah, I know.
Like
That's
I'm looking
that's
at it,
yeah.
we won a match with So after we didn't want to play with JoJo,
Mhm.
we were basically 1-5 at that point. We win one match with Maui Snake, go 60 rounds with Flom, which
Oh
the
yeah, I remember that game.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So the first match we picked up Braun, we won. Then we went 60 rounds with Mythic,
Mhm.
and we felt like if we had practice, because we were playing with Maui Snake, so we never practiced with Maui Snake
Right.
because he's doing analyst work for DreamHack and whatever,
Yeah.
and also has 150 ping, and we're not going to force him to play
Right.
on a slideshow. Uh, so that all happened. We eventually Maui played enough matches to where we go, okay, we're going to play with Tommy and actually get a little bit of practice, and that's when we start winning these matches where people said we were underdogs. But also by that time when we're never practicing and we're playing with a guy that has 150 ping, I wanted nothing to do with the rest of the season.
Yeah.
Like I didn't want it like I wanted nothing to do with the rest of the season. That season, I didn't want to touch Counter Strike. I was already a little demotivated to play before coming in,
Right.
and I wanted nothing to do with that whole season.
Yeah. No, I mean
Um,
that makes sense. Yeah.
yeah, but that was just, oh my god, that was awful. But um, for Wes, like I wish I did what Wes was doing, and even while we were like 1-5, I know he was. There's no way he wasn't
Oh
unmotivated
yeah,
on a certain
he
level,
was putting some work
right?
in.
Right, but that guy, like, I'd randomly be on at 3 in the morning because I didn't care about my sleep schedule. I'd wake up at 3, and he'd be on watching a demo and then go to bed,
Yeah.
right? After he probably watched about 3, you
Yeah,
know,
and played FPL right
and
beforehand.
got into FPL, was playing FPL once a
Yeah.
week at least,
I guess FPL wasn't probably active back then, but
a whole lot. Like,
yeah.
I've known that guy. I remember picking up Wes. in advance, and like the one of the first matches we had with him was on Dust 2, and I was losing my mind because I was IGLing and my team,
Mhm.
my like, I I was 15 IGLing a advanced team for some reason. So
Right.
like I was raging all the time, yelling at people that were on that team.
Yeah.
Him and dude, I remember Wes in that match was holding upper B. He'll never admit it, but that guy was holding upper B because I said, "You're defaulting upper B, just hold it." And I remember spectating him with watching him with one of our teammates because we ran out mid and died. He's holding upper B, and I swear his crosshair was shaking.
He's
Right?
nervous.
Like he's nervous in like his first advanced match, right? Now that
That's
guy's
hilarious. Yeah.
one of the most like all-star players in MDL, right?
Yeah.
Or whatever, could easily be like in that all-star match,
Oh yeah.
right?
Yeah. He's. I mean, last season, I think like that was kind of one of the key turnarounds for y'all was when he started opping randomly too.
Yeah,
Like he
yeah,
just dropped like
because
30 a game when he started opping, and I was like, I
yeah,
did not even realize like I could op, and then he does it, and you all start like winning. I think it was on an overpass match. I don't know who y'all were
yeah, the
playing, but
overpass match. Yeah, that was the match we won with Maui Snake where that
yeah,
he dropped 40 and it was
yeah,
a 16-13. We had Maui Snake and it was 16-13.
yeah.
And I remember playing that match and feeling so bad because on T side we were down like 10-5 and I was like
Yeah.
3-15.
It's hilarious. Yeah, he was nuts. He was one of my favorite players to watch last season.
Yep.
But I guess that kind of covers a little bit of last. Unless you got a little bit more to talk
No, we
about.
just wanted to avoid relegation, and if you download the demo of, like, our last season, or of our last match, it's us versus Rebirth, and it's both of us literally knowing the match doesn't matter, and
Right.
it's, like, us Zeusing each other. Like, me and 4-Pack had a standoff with a Zeus and
Yeah.
Khan, and like we were both teams were run boosting and trying to knife each other because they secured playoffs, so no
Yeah.
matter what, if they won the match, and if we won the match, we couldn't make playoffs, but we still missed relegation, so
Right.
we were just having fun that last match, and that just sums up like
Last
the whole
season, pretty much.
last season.
Yeah.
Yeah, that whole match
Uh,
just sums up that,
yeah.
right, that whole
There's a
season.
couple different games like that if I'm remembering. Although I will say the one that blew my mind, and I don't know. I feel like I still never got a real answer to this. Was the Rugrats team that I think missed playoffs by one seed, um, or one game that they would have won. They had two games on the last day,
Yeah, and
and
they just didn't show up,
they
right?
didn't show up for the second
Yeah.
second game.
Oh,
They showed
but
up
they
for the
showed up in the
first
first
one
one?
against
And then
Whalers, and then they 16-3'd Whalers on Nuke. 16-3'd
okay.
Whalers on Nuke and
And
did
that
not show
yeah,
up to their
and show up for
playoff
the
game.
game.
I
I didn't
could
even
not believe it. I
I didn't even
still
know
don't
that.
know. I still don't know what happened. There might be like a little article talking about it, but I feel like there's
I
something
don't even know
like
what happened with that.
yeah, I don't know.
Uh,
I'll maybe do
I don't
some
know.
research.
Maybe they thought like Russian Canadians would have like won out or something because that was like the other team, right?
Yeah, the Russian
That made it.
Canadians was the 8th seed, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, they were.
And they had more round wins, but they would have been tied scoreline. So if Redgrats would have won their last game, they would have been tied with Russian Canadians, but dropped them down to the 9th seed. So
Okay.
it was weird. It was weird.
So it just didn't matter because I know Russians Canadians didn't even want to play
And I
playoffs,
think the same
and
thing
then
for
didn't.
Rugrats. I think Rugrats didn't want to play
Oh, is that
playoffs
why?
either. Because I
Yeah.
think there was moves going on in the back end already, and they were just kind of
Yeah.
finishing up the season.
Well,
And so
I know Mata was
and
like
and Infinite too. Yeah,
was ready to go to Valorant and play for Luminosity by the
right.
end of the season. So I don't know.
And I think
It might
Infinite
have
was
just
heading
been
out the door as well. I mean, I'm not sure if that move was already made or not, but there's plans
yeah.
on getting him.
I know Mata for sure was already set
Yeah,
on Valorant at that
right.
point.
So I mean, that's kind of what I imagined it would be is just trying to avoid playoffs to end the season. But maybe not. Maybe
Yeah.
there's someone who just couldn't show up, and I don't know. Whatever. Moving on from that, I do kind of want to talk about next season a little bit because you haven't finished your roster just yet, I don't think, but you have a solid four-man core of yourself, FrostyK, Monk, and Braun, and and I'm kind of excited to see that that go through.
Yeah, I think it's just a matter of us. 'Cause right now in practice, we're just all not on the same page going over little stuff, and that has to do a little bit with tryouts. But even when we were playing with Wes,
Right.
um, he there was a little, we were on different pages a little bit for like holding sites and just
Yeah.
communication, little things like that. So it wasn't going too well. Um, but those are simple things that we can
Work through.
fix.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. It just takes one person to command the site and say, all right, you go here, you go there, hold that, you hold this, right? Go over, all right, go over a setup, call it something.
Yeah. So are
Astralis
you
do this, so we're gonna call it Astralis, right?
yeah.
It's just simple stuff like that.
Are you the IGL or is FrostyK IGLing this roster?
Frosty
Okay.
K is IGLing.
That's what I figured.
Yeah, I'm nowhere near that. I
Yeah.
just
Just in
keep my,
advance. You
yeah,
left your
it
IGL
was,
days in advance?
yeah. I want nothing to do with that.
Okay. So is Frosty K, does he have that style where he's kind of able to micromanage, or is it more loose in his
N-
style?
Oh, it. Well, I would say it's neither because in MDL you shouldn't have to micromanage your teammates,
Right. Yeah.
right? You should just be like, okay, we're doing Astralis. I'm going here, which means
You
you're
know where to
going
go.
there.
Yeah.
You
Okay.
know where to go, right? Like
Okay.
it. It shouldn't be as hard as it is at
Yeah.
all,
Okay. I'm following.
right?
Get a
Like,
message.
there's no reason that I need to be telling you to go there and micromanaging every little thing.
Right. Okay. So he's kind of, just calling the shots, and you guys are just trying to figure
Yeah,
out how to get on the same page.
yeah. For T
And,
side, for
and is practice T side specifically?
well, T side is like he calls the defaults. We're going back B late round. We're going back A late round, right?
Okay.
On CT side, it's more of like the people. So what's an example? So it's me on Inferno. It's me and Monk, right? So like taking the mantle of controlling the round at B, right? So I'm telling, okay, let's do this, right? If they throw smokes at us, just set up a flash and we'll both pop through the
Right.
smokes, right?
Yeah.
And then at A, Frosty is saying the stuff at A, right? So it's like two
Kind of
people
two,
controlling
yeah,
what they
separate.
see.
Okay.
And that's just the sort of the easiest way to do it on CT side, in my
Yeah.
opinion.
Oh
Because
yeah.
if Trevor's calling something at A, he doesn't know what's going on at B, and if he's trying to
Yeah.
control people at B, it doesn't work sometimes.
Yeah, it's having two people kind of fill that role, like one being kind of a secondary caller. It's definitely like a something that I feel like is an underrated aspect in CS:GO is that you can have
Right.
two people kind of call if you have that capability. So I
Yep.
guess like
Well,
even that advanced IGL experience that you have, if you're able to bring just like a sliver of that into the secondary calling like position, it's a good bit of
well,
experience to have.
even before I've been doing it since Wes left, but even before that, Frosty was playing B with me, and it was Viz at A doing it with the
Okay.
Yogg, telling
Yeah.
these people what to do, right?
Right.
And so for myself, what I've learned from that is if in a world you could get 5 people to call the same setup,
Yeah.
right,
That'd be
right,
perfect.
right, then it all works out. And I'm thinking to myself, well, pro teams probably have 5 people that all know what to do, right? And so
Yeah.
that's just like one of the ways that I see to like gauge people
It's a
or gauge a
communication
team,
maybe?
right? Um, I mean, in a perfect world, everyone can do it, right? But I
Yeah.
even think on like pro teams, you still have like two main people that you look towards to.
Yeah.
But if you catch them slacking off, then Braun calls something, you know?
Okay. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Um all right. Yeah, and so that's a little bit about your next season. We covered early in that the video about your kind of practice schedule with the team and that you are practicing, and it's also good to hear that other teams are practicing cuz that just means the competition's getting better and better. And so
Yeah, I think it has a lot to do with like people's motivations, right?
yeah.
Because Valorant, because Valorant, I'm not gonna. I don't think NACS is dead, but we're definitely like
Mhm.
hurting, in terms of the people below, right? But I think about it and I think about all the teams, like who's ever playing right now, like you see Grape tweet out, "Hey, I'm gonna try out Valorant."
Right.
LFT Valorant plays Valorant for 3 weeks, goes, "I don't really want to play that game," gets
Yeah.
picked up by Third Impact, right? And
Yeah.
I know, Insane um is definitely trying, right? Like he definitely wants to win and
Oh
try
yeah.
his best,
Yeah.
right? So, and I think that goes for almost every team in advance or in MDL right now compared to or Premier with this awful logo. But but for Premier, I think there's definitely more motivation across the board for teams,
Yeah.
even if they're not like the best players. If you compare them to the last seasons, but
Right.
like there was gatekeeping in a sense,
Okay.
right?
Yeah, I mean, I think that every season, being able to kind of cycle in new talent, like the new advanced teams that came up last season, is always going to be good too, because it can be the case where advanced teams are like the teams that are trying a lot harder, whereas MDL teams at certain points can kind of get comfortable in their MDL spot and kind of lose it through that kind of relegation. So not only that, but having um, the 4 seasons a year kind of allows, I think, for more adjustment in
Yeah,
like
that
the move
that
ups.
and I also this whole 3 maps, we're all playing best of 3s for the rest
Yes.
of the year, right? It, it'll definitely show who are, like, the best teams, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's
But
what
it'll
I'm
also
most excited
screw
about.
screw yeah, screw the teams that are in bad positions, like, if somehow I lose internet for the rest of the year.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Um, but yeah, so I kind of want to finish off talking a little bit about the cash cups and what your thoughts are about those, the increased prize pool, and if like you've seen from your kind of person point of view that has it increased a little bit in like the motivation for teams. I know that a lot of times those cash cups can kind of feel like you got the two teams that are invited kind of dominating it, but um, I guess it's always good for like competition to increase the amount of money being made.
Um, I mean, the cash ups, the way I look at them, I sort of look at them like a qualifier, which, um, like you're qualifying for nothing, but it's just the sense of you're playing. Like I see other teams that know going into it they're not gonna win,
Yeah,
right? But they're playing it to play these better
better
teams,
teams, right?
right? And they're sort of playing it as like a practice, and then you have teams that are trying to win it,
Hmm.
right? Which in a way is like a good and bad thing, right?
Right.
But your goal of the cash cup, because people play qualifiers, like the mindset of me 4 years ago when I was just playing random qualifiers with whatever team I was on, it was never the goal to win, right?
Is to
You're
yeah,
right. It was just to get that opportunity to play
an
whoever
MDL
was
team.
playing.
Yeah.
Yeah, an MDL team by chance or whatever, right? And I see that in the cash cup, and sometimes you do like the way you're thinking about it, like us, we're playing that cash cup a couple weeks ago, and we're playing like some open team in the first round,
Yeah.
right? And we 16-0 them, and then we played advanced team, and we're like overconfident, right?
Yeah.
And lose,
Okay,
right?
that
It was
that
like
makes
right,
sense because I've seen so many upsets in those cash
right,
cups.
right, and which is like the thought process. So
Okay.
like you have to go in with the mindset to be like very serious because we 16-0 some random team,
And you're
and I
just
was
running
buying.
up mid Mirage every
Not
round.
not even that. I was buying M249s running
Yeah.
down banana, right?
Right.
Like and then we had to play like a semi-practiced advanced team and we're
They're they're
overconfident.
shooting.
We're peeking down mid. We're buying deagles running
Yeah.
down banana. We're just and then we lose and we're like, "Oh." Right? And that was like our first match as Big Chillin,
Right.
right?
Okay. That makes more sense than
Right.
like getting
So
that
there's a
kind of
little
perspective.
Yeah, so there's a little bit of like overconfidence, and then you get upset, and you're like, well, that'll never happen
Hmm.
again, right? And you also get a sense like the way teams play in qualifiers aren't the same way they're gonna play in matches, right? So it's like its own little thing. So that's
Yeah.
what I mean by it's more like a qualifier because you have teams not like trying super hard,
Hmm.
right? Or it matters or doing the same things they would do in a league match,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. I mean, and that makes perfect sense. I kind of it's interesting to hear that, but now with like that increased like risk, like you kind of if you lose a cash cup, you don't risk losing
Playoffs or
$2,000. Yeah, but
well,
you
it's
do
not even
risk
like the
like losing
money.
5,000. Like it's 1 grand if you split between 5 people, assuming, but like 1 grand if you win that. So it's a
Yeah,
decent chunk of change.
yeah, but I think for most people, it's not, I don't think money is the motivation, like everyone
Okay.
that's playing, right? It's like you're not going to get super motivated on money when everybody that's playing has, at one time spent $1,000 to make their computer,
Yeah.
right?
Okay. That makes
Right.
sense.
I'm pretty sure that everyone's playing wants to play to be the best more than to play to make the 10 grand in salary you could potentially make, right?
Yeah.
Or whatever you hear from people or like whatever S to tag this crazy contract for
Yeah.
Cloud9 is, right? Like I could see you getting motivated from money for that, but for me, like 3K, 2K, that's split between five of us, right?
It's
So I'm
not
getting
gonna.
more like 750.
Yeah.
It's kind of like it's nice, but I it's
You're
not, and
focused
at
on
that it's yeah, I'm
improvement.
focused on more than that, right?
Okay. That makes sense. Yeah. Plus, I mean, majors are $100,000, so you gotta focus on that either way if you're after the money.
Yeah. So for playing a cash cup, it's not the motivation of money for me, you know.
Okay. That's
It's
that's a
getting it's
good.
getting in it's getting in that final spot to play, triumph or
Yeah.
whatever other team's playing in there. Right.
That's a good answer. Okay. Well, I mean, that's all I have for the episode. That's all I got ready to go. But do you have anything you want to shout out before you
Uh
finish up?
Not really. I got practice soon.
All right. You want
And I'll be in there.
Yeah. Shout out to Big Chill and the
Oh,
merch
yeah, hold
brand.
on, hold on, hold
I,
on,
I got you.
hold on. Yeah, I definitely should have done that. Oh no.
No,
But
no,
Big
it's not too
Chillin
late.
Shop, yep, bigchillinshop.com. There you go.
Go hit it up, everyone. They
Yep,
got some really
go
cool
hit that
merch. I
up.
got a long sleeve champion t-shirt. I should have worn it for the episode, but hit a Big Chill in there. It's
Oh,
super
you gotta,
cool.
yep.
There's
We
yeah.
can cut that out easily. Cut that out easily in between. Easy, easy.
Shout out to Big Chill and they're super cool. They've been supporting the NA
Yep.
scene for since I started casting, probably before that too. So big shout out to them.
Yeah, they had a yeah, they've been doing stuff for a bit.
Yeah,
I'm thinking back to when, yeah, they've been doing stuff for a bit. Even if it wasn't like the Big Chill name, I just know
right.
the owner of like the person that owns Big Chill has been doing
He's
stuff
got
for
a good setup
a
there.
while.
He's smart, man. With the merch sales, like he's got a good thing going for him. I'm excited to see what's to come. But
Yep.
also follow our socials at extra 20 at micro T99. It'll be in the video, right below the webcam. Make sure you go follow our Twitters. But yeah, thank you so much for joining me. This has been another episode
Yep.
of Premiere Preview, and we'll see you soon. Peace.